worry too much because we'll move in towards the map real soon. And of course, if you guys are thinking about the standings, who's actually taking the lead, currently it's Encrypted from Myanmar that's taking the top. Well, we still haven't seen some of the renowned names like Orange CG as well as Yangon Galacticos pop up, but we'll be seeing the entirety of the run. How exactly will it go so far? As for the standings, we already got the top three, including iconic Encrypted as well as APG. Acro PUBG is definitely that pleasant surprise that I really do hope that they do even better from that previous round. They secured 4 kills in the 7th place, while in the first game of Arangel, they managed to clinch a top 3 spot with a total of 8 kills as well. As for Encrypted IO, they are consistently at the 4th place so far, and even in the past game that they cracked out on 12, they had a total of 8 kills to still solidify their position in that top 4. Same goes to the side of ASTP. Now in the top 5, they had a 6th place finish as well as a 5th place finish. And ASTP, also known as, well, give me a moment to actually think of that name right there. All-Star Team Puyet, coming in from the Philippines. I do hope that I didn't butcher the name. I don't really speak Tagalog myself, so yeah, my apologies to that. But of course, some mad respect to all the teams out there contending to be the top team to represent their respective countries here in these SEA wildcards. We have the Philippines, Myanmar, as well as Cambodia actually contending in this survey series here that will last from today all the way till tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune right in. We're about to take this flight once again in towards Sandhawk, and hopefully we have a smooth cruise moving in towards this, as we will be seeing who will be able to clinch the next chicken dinner of this match itself. We're almost halfway through the entirety of the day of 6 matches in total, and now with a very different flight path, this will see Camp Bravo as a starting point all the way towards the hot seat area. So we're expecting a little bit of a change of the areas of the circle as well. But since Setup is such a small map, everything is pretty much reachable unless we're talking about, a alpha-centric circle, then maybe some teams will have a little bit of a tough time moving across 65 already headed in towards Mong 9. Yangon Galacticos once again headed towards the side of the quad area, while inside of boot camp this time, I think that will be a little bit of a change of scenario as we see Encrypted IO. They are dropping in once again, but oh boy, seems like they're out for another fight inside the middle, as this is going to be match number 3 of Pmco fall split C wildcards, and once more Icon will take that fight inside of boot camp, and we're already seeing 4th row actually clinching that kill out there in boot camp. Man, that's going to be the first blood going in towards the favor of Iconic. And for the side of joining me, they're slowly looting from the corners of Quarry Wall. There might just be a rush coming through from the side of Iconic to take out OWT. Silence already being knocked out as well. This is not really a great signal for Encrypted IO. Iconic now trying to actually find a little bit of the angles from different sections. A few still looting up as well. Black don't really have items to actually heal himself with. Well, there's only going to be the Vector in the hands of OWT. No further casualties thus far for Encrypted IO. As of current, they're just trying to heal themselves back into shape. While Loki is going to be taking the further parts of the boot camp all the way down towards the eastern side, or should I say west in this sort of case. And for the side of blanks, he's still scavenging for that first aid kit that he desperately needs to find this fight against XIO. Nettleton waiting for backup to arrive, while fourth row, the one in charge to secure the kill, is still trying to actually get in towards position. Now, OWT as well as Silence. In that same compound, they don't really have too much that they could work with, but over on the side of Loki, he finds himself a little bit of the movement right towards the other corner, while the side of Blacklist International will be headed in towards Ruins as their fixed drop point for many seasons already. Aeon's Vigor, alas, all these names still very relevant to all the other viewers hailing from the rest of Southeast Asia, as we've seen them played back in the days alongside with amplified peer skills. And over on the side of Akuma, they are taking Hatin, while Orange Esports CG goes back towards the Charlie section, while Loki actually finds the crosshairs upon Iconic. So it's going to be an equal playing field as of the moment, while Orange CG, they are going to be having a quiet time while Blanks straight back, and that will leave only two players standing inside of that sort of area. Now the circle will be appearing towards the quarry section. Seems to be already inside, but here comes that sort of circle already having a lot of shots coming through, but it's still going to be Iconic that actually takes a really huge pointer here. Already 3 kills in the bag for Iconic, and I'm not too sure how would Loki survive through it all. Great push coming in from Iconic to open the round, but from the likes of Crucial Gaming, it's Key Esports stuck by the edge once again, and this northern side of Tatmok is going to be a little bit of a difficult area for them to actually move out of. Well, they are trying to actually gatekeep members of the side of CG inside of Cow. There's still plenty more options out there for the likes of CG to move about, like by water, if they actually find a boat by the edge of Cow. As for EGOT, no meds, only level 1 best, but this is still very much decent. While Excripted is swimming by the shorelines as they are trying to actually get themselves in towards Tambang. Now, towards the Yangon Galacticos, they are very well familiar with the likes of the Temple of Sandhawk. Early game, a little bit quiet, other than the scuffle that we saw inside of boot camp. And now the team with the least amount of members definitely going to be the side of Victor IO. Already not having 3 of the players, while Key Esports now working with whatever they got, and they haven't really seemed to secure a top finishing from the past 2 games. As for the side of All-Star Team Puyat, they already got a great coverage of the side of Quarry, holding it towards the high hills on where they could just look over the entirety of the lower ridges out there, while Yango Galacticos, they understand that there is some movements from across, so they're not going to be taking too much of the sort of peak for the moment. While down the road, we also see Veni Vidi Vici. So for the side of Veni Vidi Vici, they're still on the lower half of the list. If I last checked, they were in the top 10. But Miramar didn't treat them well as they were the first team to bow out. Only having 10 points, but one chicken dinner can change the course of the game for them. Ashura Kata, with the rest of Crucial Gaming, is already moving in towards the zone as they need to actually drive past bad to be able to make their way in towards Quarry. But when they reach Quarry, that's where they really have to prepare for all these big fights that's about to approach along the way. Join Me Esports going on foot while Joker tries to trail them for a little bit. Joker will have the M4 to work with for now. As for OG English and the rest of them, they seem to be having pretty much a decent start. As Berserker coming closer towards the edge here against Orange CG. Leon so far performed fantastically. Same goes to Stalker with a couple of kills. While Puff Puff was the last man standing in the previous game for Orange CG. Still looking by some of this river. Hoping that somebody will be passing by the Painan as well as the Cam Charlie section. While Akuma still waiting by the Alpha side. Oh, it's going to be a triple V here with Demigod. They knocked out alongside with Vaults. It's Isaac to be able to actually secure those 30 pointers out there, as Newbie will be secured by the side of Yangon Galacticos. Now, ASTP, they want to chip in as well, but Lord's going to be rescued before they further commit towards this fight. And Isaac definitely gets that perfect angle from the sort of the watchtower. And AK finish things off. This is going to be a banner start for the side of Yangon Galacticos. Well, Demigods definitely won't be rescued for the moment. Too high of a risk for Triple V to even do much at all. As for ASTP, they are just sitting by, understanding that those shots are coming from the other shacks. So this is them just hoping to just draw a few sort of glimpse to be able to challenge. But Join Me having need you just by the edge. But I think 4 months has actually hurt him. Oh, he actually did spot him now. This might just be the perfect chance. Oh, 180 flick coming from 4th row to be able to actually hear that footstep coming out. And man, Join Me loses 1. There goes Lord securing a kill afterwards. Demigod as well as Iconic now pushes up the hill. 4 kills already for the team hailing from the Philippines. And Atif, he's hiding by the other corner of the tree. They should expect even more players up this hill. Even the likes of RRQ and Tina from PPL Thailand, they like to actually climb up this hill as well. Same goes to other teams like BTR. So this is a very popular spot to actually rip in some of all these kill points. As for the side of ASTP, Roy still looking for a target, not really getting too much out of it, and for the moment it's going to be a little bit of a standoff right here. Apologies for the sneeze. Catching a little bit of cold, and yeah, do excuse me for that. Well, Join Me now having so many of these players of Iconic ready to just blast off all these clips in the center of it. We're going to see an update as it'll be in between Pine and Quarry as well as Cam Charlie for the moment. So the members of Iconic definitely will be very happy with this decision. ASCP now by the edge. We'll be expecting some passerbys. While over on the north side, we still have CG still needing to move right in. Key Esports have already booked their spot from the northern section, while Ex-Scripted Loki is still inside bootcamp, not moving at all. So I'm going to be a little bit concerned for them as we are looking at Akuma Flux and the rest of Akuma to be around the vicinity. So still nothing is in the clear for the side of Ex-Scripted IO, but for Ex-Scripted itself, pretty much a free entry coming in from the side of Cam Charlie. Very slow movements in towards this tempo of Sanok. 30 more seconds for the next play zone. And things are going to be getting a little bit rowdier than what it is at the current moment here. They'll say they are checking those certain angles. angles, and they are slowly getting gatekeep here as the kid, as well as Atif, is having a little bit of the Mexican standoff. Not really resulting all too much, but there's a little bit of the pot shots being fired from the side of Berserkers. Well, Pop has already been caught out, and Stalker replies with his very own way of striking back. Robbie now catches on towards Pop. Pop will not be able to survive. But Frank hit now. He's looking for Bimba, and he gets it! Oh, man. Bim. Definitely very unfortunate right there. And now 665 loses out one member. And they need to actually cut into the circle. The police is going to be coming right in. Phase 3 is going to be hurting them a little bit more than it should. While Roy is spot corner wrong at the very best angles that they should. And Stalker now getting caught out, and he will be knocked out there by Rocky. Beautiful coverage coming in from the side of Berserker, as Sun will be able to actually knock out Shiki as well. One member down for the side of Crucial Gaming. Now, most needs to be popped coming in from the side of Raw. Well, Wadu won't actually catch Roy coming from ASCP. Oh my! Where exactly did the angle came from? Leon managed to take down Shazam, and now this will keep them busy for the moment. Well, Robbie will be erupting that vehicle across, but Stalker will still be a little bit safe. But the damage is definitely good enough to be able to actually bring these two players on all four. And Stalker has been removed right now with the push coming from Rapti. Berserker playing a lot more aggressively than the past two games that we saw them. And there's only going to be Leon left alive here. So I guess Leon will have to play for position instead of chasing for those kills. All of a sudden, the tides have definitely turned. And Orange Esports, they could have actually played it a little bit safer. But, of course, curious cats sometimes don't really get what they need. Now, we're inside of ASTP. Hasn't really moved too much from Quarry. They still have these sort of angles to actually work with. While fourth row will have a little bit of smoke for coverage, but that's going to be a big nade dropping in between all three members down, and that leaves only few alive. And that's one more nade clipping few once again. This is going to be another one as iconic, blown to pieces by Join Me Esports. My goodness, that was absolutely insane. And this was an easy 4-pointer out there after that long movements out there. Iconic. From second place out, they might expect a little bit of shift, but hey, they can still catch up nonetheless. Joker, all alone, he spots out Key Esports moving alongside, well, Acor PUBG. He's actually picked off members of the side of Crucial Gaming. Skynet dropping in those sort of nades empty, trying to do what he can. Oh, that's going to be a bad nade being lopped over in the corner, and Teen is still waiting for the right moments out there. Now, 2 versus 2. As you can see, many of these players already on their knees. A little bit of smoke's being provided to the side of Ross as Skynet tries to actually prime this nade in towards the window. But there's not much time left. The circle's going to be closing right through as we see a little bit of repositioning coming from the side of Acor PUBG. Why do being left out by Dust while Empty secures that kill? Driving inside of the quarry is something that you rarely see, and Sun had no other choice but to crawl through. English finds Igigat. Same goes to Ozuna getting taken out here by Leon. Although he's all alone, he's still fighting it as a one-man army. And Rot slowly bleeds out. And Zaddy once again goes in towards the fragging boards as they manage to take out Leon. I believe that will be the end for the side of Orange CG in this map itself. While Joker has been relatively silent. Nothing too much coming out from the side of OG. Well, we're just waiting for the next circle to pop by. Well, Akuma is now moving in towards the compound of the side of Berserker. Berserker is really to actually take this sort of fight. Ogre already receiving a little bit of damage, but it's going to be Kaido there that gets that first initial attempt as Robbie goes down on his knees. Now, a little bit difficult. He should pop a few smokes to actually come by. Akuma now on the hot pursuit. Let's see what will happen from here. He's cutting in by the corner. A little bit of the sort of the bullets being sent out from above the hills. While Akuma will be having one member being knocked down as well. Oh, Random Sprays will be able to actually catch him off there as Berserker looking to actually finish off all the other members out there. Flux is still on the other edge, while everyone else, get blasted by the nade out there. And there goes Berserker securing another great point coming in from the other edge. There's no way that Akuma could have survived out of that. And man, Shazam was in charge of taking them all out. Skynin catches Y-Lord. YG so far, rough games after another. It's going to be English here that will be able to actually get the kicking side of Key Esports, while Rankit gets an open free range shooting, as Rankit also needs to actually move by all the other players coming from the side of ASTP. Already open up some spacing, but on the top side of the hill, we are having Join Me Esports just waiting by as well. Atef gets a knock on towards the members of the side of Berserker, as well as Kubi already down. Same goes to Empty from the side of Crucial Gaming. And here comes English, popping in with the nade. They understand that there's going to be one player on the other edge. And man, things are looking a little bit dicey for the side of Chips. But he will still make it out in towards the next phase. Now, OG, waiting for the right moment. It seems like they will still have the circle within reach. Atif, waiting for revival. Kid's gonna be able to be rescued for now, but they have to be careful with the push coming from the side of X-Scripted from down below. Now, with the rest of the players from the side of ADR, as well as Key Sports, slowly marching upwards as well, they have to defend this with all the lives that they have. Roger goes in to actually get a member off the side of Key Esports as well. We're seeing a lot of nades being prime coming in from Jojo XX, but he's still keeping his tabs on towards the side of OG. Kid just dropping a big nade. That's going to be a great clip over on the side of Chips. While Join Me now has to face off against the rest of the members of X-Scripted, now climbing up towards the hill as well. Oh, big nade falls right in front of his face, but he will only be taken out 25%. With members of the side of ADR now chipping in a whole lot more. There's a little bit of that sort of the long-range nades being lobbed out, and it's going to be a little bit tough for them to actually do all too much. Wadu gets a couple more of these knocks, finishing off some players from the side of ASTR. ASTP now on that 5th position. And it's going to be the kid going in for a little bit of that spray. Spots one out! Great surgery sprayed out over the side of Kira to be able to actually secure that. I'm not too sure whether if Scripted can actually make it out of this. With Join Me already securing most of the entirety of the next region of the circle. There's going to be a little bit more of that sort of pickup in the form of Key Esports as well. 7 kills already in the bag for Join Me. And all started with a big bang to actually take out Iconic, and now going into the rush as well, trying to actually spot out Kira as well as ADR, but they're all proling out there. Thus might be able to actually do something right here to be able to actually secure those knocks right in. Almost able to draft those, waiting for the right moment. They have to actually engage in a way that they do not be spotted out. While the kid, he's in between these two members, this is going to be a little bit dangerous. All he can do is perhaps lob a couple of nades right down below. With smokes being popped up right in between him, this is going to be drawing a little bit more of that attention. And speaking of which, it's going to be Tira coming in for the backstab as well, trying to actually secure themselves that second place finish at the very least. And, well, Key Esports now will get that point in the back. With that Vector coming in with the straight out, he does a little bit of damage to his kid as well. That will be the game. And right here. What a finisher coming in from the side of Joy Me. And boy, oh boy, Joy Me Esports will take the very first ticket dinner for the Cambodian side. And of course, this is the third ticket dinner of the day being celebrated with a stellar performance coming out from those hills. And man, they managed to shut down the entirety of the competition, bagging some big corners towards this round itself. And of course, that wasn't me, and I am right back here in the stage. And of course, we thank you guys here for watching once again. Man, that game itself was a little bit tricky for some of these teams coming from the northern side, especially for Iconic. They took that win against the side of Exscripted IO, where they knocked out 3 of the players, leaving only 1 player behind.